Hello, my name is Arthur Hornell, graduate student, WTAMU University. This is Management 633470, Seminar on Organizational Behavior, the Heidi Roizen Oral Case Study Assignment. First question is, what are the strengths of Roizen's network across its different stages of career? Heidi began using the principles of self-similarity and proximity during her college and added these colleagues to her network. She then capitalized on private information in her network to get the interview and to attain her first job at Tandem. At Tandem, she used a role that gave her access to the CEO and used the opportunity to demonstrate her abilities and the information available to become an information broker. This is a person with no power but access to knowledge and skills of the right people. She had private information, access to diverse skill sets, and that helped her gain power. At Teammaker, Heidi developed her network through the press and conferences, always using conversations and turning them into substance and diversifying her skills within her network. She joined associations and met industry leaders. This is using the shares activities principles. She gained exposure as she became president of this association. She was a network building, adding information brokers, leaders, and others. She was willing to invest time in developing relationships, which is very key, and many of whom these leaders became industry leaders and famous later on. As she went on to Apple, Heidi strengthened and expanded this network with key contacts within Apple and also with gained access to other industry leaders. Her proximity and similarity to Silicon Valley CEOs helped expand her network, having already been a CEO of a startup company. She was a recognized and respected voice of opinion, and she parlayed that into a network creating more influence. As a mentor capitalist, she had outside active board members. Again, this is the shared activities principles. As discussed in the reading, she built the better networks through these outside activities with her proximity and self-similarity type of people. Heidi was invited to join many boards through this network, leverage her network to help startups as a mentor capitalist. She was very selective in regards to her leveraging of the network, though, and she didn't overuse people and always repaid them. This was creating networks with trust and diversity. She used reciprocity to maintain the balance and was always mindful of time involved with others. Heidi expanded her network more socially with her private parties, inviting like-minded but diverse people. Introducing and networking in the social arena can often build trust and familiarity. At SoftBank, she was already involved with 5 boards and 4 advisory boards when she joined SoftBank. She was still leveraging her network and diversifying it with the shared activities principles. She's building with outside activities. She maintained relationships even when denying capital to friends and network, always giving feedback to rejected applicants. She showed consistency, and this endeared trust. During this time as a venture capitalist, she began to change her allegiances and motivations within her network, referring more to SoftBank and versus others, which bothered her a little bit, and she felt she was sacrificing her network and networking ability for her work as a venture capitalist. This time, she was leaning heavily on network power brokers to keep up and keep in touch with her network because of time constraints. The second question is, using the reading concepts, what extent do they apply to Roizen and how they influenced her power, influence, and networking success? I used the Give and Take book, the articles on how to build your network, harnessing the science of persuasion, and how to become productively generous. From the Give and Take book, Heidi was a collaborator style, which was a giver. More specifically, she's an otherish giver. She's not afraid to ask. She definitely keeps up her interest inside at all times. At times, she's more of a matching style, even though talking about expecting reciprocity, I think this is more about trusting people in her network that they will help when asked rather than demanding reciprocity or expecting them to do so. People generally will do what's in their own best interest, and reciprocity occurs especially when you have a person like Heidi who is known for giving back in kind. Her style adapts to circumstances at times. Many times she's advocating for someone else, a job, some other company's benefit. So being assertive during these circumstances parallels a giver's mentality. In her position as a mentor capitalist, she coined, which is a term she coined, she was able to successfully fully be a giver of information, of contacts, using her positions on startup boards to assist these startups. And the reciprocity was that she did benefit. She expanded her network while the company benefited as well. But a win-win situation for all. As a venture capitalist, she was still a giver, but struggling in this role because the giver style was taking her several hours a day getting feedback to rejected applicants. Only a giver would do that. It's different in this capacity. She had to deny people in her network as well as friends, and it was hard for her giver style, and that's why she insisted on at least giving feedback. Heidi encompassed all the ideas of building your network. She probably could write a book on this. She uses private information for her network's benefits. Her network had many diverse people with diverse skill sets. Her network included power positions, but included information brokers as well. This facilitates flow of information and keeps her in touch with a very large and extensive network. She built a network in the beginning with similarity and proximity, as discussed before, and extended it later with her contacts and then as her influence grew. She leveraged these positions and associations and other board activities to diversify her network with different skill sets and different levels of power. Heidi harnesses the power of persuasion with natural talents and ability. In the beginning, she uses her natural likability and charm to develop her network. People liked her. She liked people, whether it's boardroom or whether it's a conference room or a show. She always used the opportunity to get to know them and have meaningful discussions. She used her reciprocity style of giving to persuade others to help friends and colleagues. She uses her power of persuasion and people naturally following her lead, as she was one of their peers and a former startup and Silicon Valley company owner. She had this power. She believed in the role of consistency and performance. She expected it of herself and she expected it of others inside her network. And in turn, they could expect this from her. This increased her power to persuade. In a short time, she became a natural authority. Expertise was unquestionable, and therefore she had this power to persuade. The limits of position, time, and money are all scarcities in the computing world, and she was able to harness her network ability to gain influence and increase her ability to persuade. 7 minutes is not long enough.